back for another episode, and we just gonna talk business today. All right, we just gonna talk everything business, and we have a special guest that I want to bring on, who is my coach. Yes, my business coach who's helping me build the different platforms I'm trying to build for you all to get the necessary things that you need to be great. So yes, we got a special guest on by the name of Jamila Moore. She's an attorney. She is a coach. I met her a while ago while I was participating and getting my certification through the TCC, Dr. Darius Daniels TCC program, now TCP. But yeah, she's just incredible. Her knowledge, her wit, just everything about her is very enthusiastic, charismatic, in the fact that she loves what she does and she wants to see other people win as well. All right, so let's welcome in Miss Jamila Moore. How you doing?
I am well. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to serve your audience on today.
Awesome. So listen, there's two questions or two things that we always start out when we bring coaches into the platform. And the first one is just tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll get into all that and all the specifics of kind of what you do and all that, but just a little bit about who Jamila is, your hobbies, things that you like to do, your faith, all that.
Yeah, I would say my latest understanding of myself is that I'm a legend in the making.
Ooh. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so I think about all of the things that I've gone through that prepared me to operate at the level that I'm at now. Whether it was some type of betrayal in a relationship, whether it was a disappointment about something that I wanted, or whether it was actually getting something that I never even thought I could have, right? All of these things are building blocks that are making me Jamila Moore, a person who will go on to serve so many different people. And some of the things that I think about that I love to do while becoming this legend, I love to drive fast. Like a nice little.
Yeah, I saw the new vehicle that you purchased. I ain't gonna put your business out there. I mean, even though it's public knowledge because you made a whole reel about it. But yeah, you got you a nice little thing going on there.
So I love to drive fast. I love learning and reading, and I love being around great people who can sharpen my mind, and then I can sharpen theirs. And the newest thing that I'm learning to love is actually rest without guilt.
That's so good. Mm-hmm. That's so good. It's funny that you kind of say you like to drive fast. So for those who don't know, me and Jamila, we kind of come from the same. We grew up in the same area, from the same background. I now have moved on because through college has taken me a bunch of different places and getting married and such. But she's still back in our home state, California, in our home city area. California is just a hodgepodge of different, sub areas. So, but yeah, we kind of have a lot in common in just kind of the way we think about stuff, probably because of our environment and the way we grew up. And driving fast is one of those things. I tell people all the time, if you ever drive in LA, you cannot be passive at all. Yeah. You can't get on trying to mosey your way around into the traffic. No, you got it's Zoom. It's Zoom 24/7. And if you don't drive fast, if you're not comfortable doing like 10 above the speed limit, don't get on the freeway. That's just don't.
Right.
Because everybody's doing at least 10 or 15 over the speed limit. So, and that's normal because that's what they call driving to the speed of traffic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the other thing that we like to get from coaches, really revolving around this whole idea of, I kind of told them that because of you, I'm shifting the whole idea of how I do the podcast, how I do, the content that I put out around this idea of gifts and greatness and making your gifts work for you and finding yourself within those gifts and all that. So when it comes to vision casting, dreaming, pursuing anything, what would you say are just a couple keys to really doing that?
Okay, so one, I want to say everybody needs to lock in whenever you hear the term keys. And the reason why I'm saying you need to lock in, because a key gives you access to more. A key gives you access to something different. And so whenever Coach Lou or you hear anybody talk about keys, that's your opportune time to like, let me stop anything that's going to make me distracted and let me get this key to more. So if I think about when we embark upon moving along in a vision, I think one, we have to think about, is this vision clear and is this vision from God? Because how successful we are and how we will feel on the journey will be dependent on whether or not it's our vision or it's God's vision. The second thing I will say is, how are you preparing the steps to actually attain the vision? Yeah. Sometimes we like the idea, the big idea, right? But that big idea has to be backwards planned so that you can actually have smart goals to get to that big idea. The third thing is pre-plan for obstacles, for the moments where you will be discouraged. Because when that happens, it could knock you off your Richter, but you have to say, I'm committed to this vision, so I'm going to move forward no matter what. These are my Bible verses when I get discouraged. This is the person I call that can help, boost my energy. And so those are just a few keys to really attaining your vision and your dream in life.
Hey, did y'all lock in? Did y'all lock in? She said keys. Like, did y'all do what she just said? Because she just gave you all she just dropped some gems right there. Now, you are an attorney. I believe you're double board certified in New York and in Cali, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, many times, I know for myself, this is before I kind of got knowledge and it kind of matured in my thinking and understanding of what law really was. But for a lot of people, particularly when you hear an attorney or law, you immediately go to courtroom, right? And so people think that, if you're an attorney, that you're always in the courtroom, and I think, not to insult anybody's intelligence, we know that there's different types of attorneys. We know there are criminal attorneys, business attorneys, entertainment attorneys, different things like that. So talk to us about really the landscape of law, because from my understanding, you don't really necessarily be in courtrooms like that.
No, I run away from them. That's not my area of expertise. I thought that was going to be my area of expertise, and God quickly showed me that's your vision, not mine, and I got on up out of there.
Come on,
but when I think about everything that is happening in the world touches the law. Whether it's building a building, whether it's inventing something, creating something, everything around us touches the law. And so there is some type of law governing everything that we do. And when I think specifically about business owners and coaches and consultants specifically, there are a lot of areas of the law that they miss when they're starting a business. And so consumer law is important to business owners. Advertising and marketing law. Everyone needs a keys. You might want to go get your notepad, make sure you're getting these down. Yeah. So we have privacy law, which is like, what do you do when you collect someone's personal information? We have tax law. We've seen what happened to Wesley Snipes, and I heard Chris Brown is now in trouble with the tax law. It's so many different areas. We have intellectual property. The list goes on, but awareness of like what you're doing and what laws are implicated by what you're doing is one of the most important things that we all can think about as we go about life.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think that's important to know. It's not all kind of what we see on TV, which is, I'm be honest, for a long time, that's what I thought, when it came to having being a lawyer, rather. So you're an attorney, you work in, entrepreneur business law but we have personal conversations. You didn't arrive at that at first, right? So talk to us. How did you choose this arena as far as doing what you do now and helping people build their business and things of that nature? How did you arrive at that?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the short answer and then I'm gonna explain it. The short answer is God said, I gave you a gift. You're going to take care of my people.
Mm.
The long
I'm
answer.
still that. I'm coming right here, y'all. If when you hear it, he got that from Coach Jamila. Yes, I'm still in it. It's going to be in the 3-day framework next month. I'm still in it. Go ahead.
The long story is when I came out of law school, so I'm a former teacher and assistant principal. And so when I came out of law school, I had stayed too long in education and I was just hoping to just get a job. Right. So I landed at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, which was somewhat of a hodgepodge of all areas of the law. So it operated as a pseudo real estate development firm. And I worked in the office of the general counsel. It was there that I got experiences doing licensing agreement for the show Power, doing exhibition agreements for museums, doing requests for proposals, doing construction agreements, handling the litigation caseload, like you name it, I was doing it. And I know I kind of got on my boss's nerves at some point because I was like, I'm bored. Y'all got something for me to do? Yeah. And they're like, you're bored? I'm like, yes, I'm at work bored. But it was then that God was trying to train me or get me to see that I've destined you for more. Right. And so sometimes we want to live in our comfortable spaces. And so we do different things. So I landed there. Then I thought I wanted to be a litigator and actually go into the courtroom. And so I clerked for a judge. Hated that. I was like, why would I ever want to be a judge? Get me out of here. Then I was a director at a nonprofit. And then after that, God called me out of my job. In May of 2021, I was driving up the ramp off the 10, getting off on Arlington Street. And I had this just knowing, like, you about to make me quit my job. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, if you're going to make me quit my job, let's make $1 million, God. And it didn't quite happen that way, right? Because he don't go by our plan. So by December of that year, I had put in my notice. And now we're a year and some change later where I've been out here helping to make sure his people are set up right, that they're secure, they're protected in terms of their profits, their brand, and their business.
Wow. That's a story. I mean, you know, and everybody kind of has that. It's funny. I heard Bishop Jake say this once. He was talking about a conversation he was having with his son years ago. And he said, you know, his son was getting ready to go off, I think, do production in college or something like that. And he was sitting at the table talking to his dad, and he asked his dad, he said, Dad, what if this is not what I'm supposed to be doing? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I don't want to waste time, waste money and all. He said, just what if it's not what I'm supposed to be doing? And Bishop Jake said he looked at his son and he said, that's all right. Because getting started in whatever it is that you're going to do, God will make sure that you stumble into what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh my goodness. Because it's so true. We think we start out, you know, because we have our own passions and aspirations, but it's like, he's like, no, God is like, I know that's what you want to do, but I'm gonna make sure you end up doing what you're supposed to be doing. But here's how good God is. Sorry, I ain't trying to preach, y'all. I know we only talk about business, but I gotta give you this nugget. Just hit me. Is that even once we're doing what God has, you know, wants us to do, what he destined us for us to do, he'll make room for us to do the passions that we want to do as well. Mm-hmm. And he'll find a way to connect the two. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's just funny. He's just like, you just do what I tell you to do first. And I'll make sure I give you the desires of your heart. Don't worry about that. I'll find a way. I'm the master maneuver. I'll make sure it works out in where you're fulfilled in your life. So I think that is such an awesome story, you know. And then you mentioned Power, doing contracts with Power, you know. So I ain't never seen the show. My cousin told me about it. I heard it's a great show, but you know, that's pretty big deal. So let's talk contracts. You mentioned contracts. I'm going to throw a general question out there so you can take it wherever you want to take it, Coach. Okay. We know contracts are involved in pretty much everything. So why is, you know, contractual agreements important in everything?
All right. let's do this. When we buy a car or we lease a car, right? We have three things we could do. We could, one, what I like to call ride dirty. Means no insurance, something happens, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Two, we can have partial liability where if something happens to the other people, I'm going to take care of them. And then I'm going to just figure out what's going to happen with me later. Then you have the third option where you can be fully protected, where you're like, I'm driving, I'm good. It doesn't matter if something happens to my car, something happens to theirs. I'm already prepared for that. And a contract puts you in the position to be fully protected in the event of an accident. Mm-hmm. And in business, an accident will happen because someone will get upset. Biggie said it like this: more money, more problems, but more money, more attraction for people who may not have the right intent. And they want to find the loophole of where you're not protected. And so the reality is so many business owners, they get out here and they're worried about making the wealth rather than protecting the wealth. And if you don't do both, you will end up losing the wealth because you were riding dirty.
Now you say riding dirty. Let's go a little deeper into that. Give us some examples of, riding dirty, or not even just riding dirty, because there's some contracts out there that are not good contracts, right? So what can a, for the lack of a better term, dirty contract look like, right? What should we be looking for in a contract agreement as far as protections?
Yeah, so something, and if you're locking in now, you need to make sure you're connected. I'm sorry, I gotta make sure I'm serving people at the same time. You gotta make sure you're connected to my website on IamandMore.com with 1 O, because I teach people and go into depth about these things, because I'll give you an overview, but it's not gonna be enough. So one is indemnification. Most people have no idea what that means. And a lot of times when you're doing business with different people, especially when they have a higher bargaining power, they put you on a hook for anything that happens in their business related to you, and you have no idea. And it's right there in that indemnification clause. The second thing is the term and then how to terminate the contract. Most people don't have language in there on how to terminate the contract. And if you don't, you can end up at a place where someone just leaves you out there and leaves you hanging. The third thing that I'll say is having enough specificity around the statement of work and when deliverables will be given. When that's not clear in a contract, you end up just with what you end up with. And then you're upset, and then you're trying to figure out what to do. But then you didn't put a dispute resolution clause in the contract. So now you don't even know how to resolve this. I know I'm flying high, Coach.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm flying high, but it's these small words that matter. And so I want you to take this away today. Language matters. What is said and not said, well, let me not even say said, what is written and not written on a document can make or break your business, because all it takes is one person and boom, that business is crippled.
Yeah. And could you kind of allude to it a little bit, and then I'm going to move on from contracts in just a second, but I know contracts are really important when it comes to business. Now, you said we talk about things to look for. Now, we understand these are your opinions. This is because you're not necessarily the people watching, you're not their attorney, right? So these are just your opinions coming off of with this question I'm about to ask you. When you see something, what if you see what are some red flags? Let me slow down. What are some red flags of what you may see in a contract that you're like, okay, this is a bad contract?
Yeah, that's good. So I like how you put that disclaimer out there for me. Like, nope, I'm not your attorney, and nope, I'm not giving you legal advice. It's just an opinion. But One, I would say in the opening paragraph of a contract, you can automatically tell whether or not it's a good contract. People will have like someone say, hey, can you look this over for me? And it just had lines. And I'm like, huh? Okay, so what's the effective date of this contract? Oh, that's not in there. Okay, so what are the terms of services in this contract? Okay, it had 5 bullet points, Lou. 5 bullet points. I said, so what do these bullet points mean for the person who is receiving the services? They don't know. This contract was so bad that I saw that it asked for the person's social security number and date of birth. I said, well, what are we asking for this for? And that's on the hook. That was a $45,000 contract. In the dispute resolution portion or the governing law portion, it had 2 states. The whole point of a governing law is to choose one state. But when you're doing business with templates that you don't understand and without legal advice, you end up with all of these holes. And then unfortunately, you end up, you know what we say in LA, you got.
You got. Yep. You got. You fell for the okie doke. So and all when it comes to contracts, y'all, have somebody look over it. Go get you an attorney who knows what they're looking at and look over it. So let's get into trademarking, and let's talk about kind of when the trademark, the importance of trademarking. So if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to trademark something," what are some initial things that go off in your head immediately when it comes to trademarking?
Yeah. That's a good question. One of the things I just want to add this really quickly, if I may. When it comes to investing in protecting your business, I implore you to think about it in a way as saving you money in the long run rather than spending money right now. Because that's the number one thing that people think about, like, I got to spend this now, but I might have saved you $1 million later. Okay, now back to trademarking. That's
really good. Because I think I was talking to Chelsea. You know Chelsea. Actually, you'll probably be working with her soon. And I said, as soon as this stuff started dropping, and I kind of me and Jamila's relationship moves outside of coaching, she immediately gonna become my attorney. Like, you know, I know the price is gonna be different. You know, hey, it is what it is. But I said, once I see these dollars coming in, once we start really getting to a point, and I need an accountant, she's gonna shift to being my attorney, because I need to make sure when I start doing contracts, because when working with media and stuff like that, it's a lot of contracts back and forth. When we start doing that kind of stuff, I don't say I don't need a coach, but if our coach is an attorney, I need her to be an attorney, not a coach no more. You know, so I say that because how important it is to make sure that, you know, you invest and spend the money now, so you're not paying people, you know, later. But yeah, I just want to add that little piece, a nugget, to how important that may be to your business. So yeah, let's talk about trademarking.
Yeah, so when I think about trademarking, I think the moment you have an idea, you need to go and get with a business attorney / intellectual property attorney. Let me tell you why I say the moment you have an idea. I see business owners who create names that are not trademarkable. And then they want to go and trademark, but it's not going to be a good mark. And now you have to take chances on whether or not you can even trademark your business for that line of services or whatever else you want to do. The second thing is you want to make sure that the name you are choosing is not infringing on someone else's mark. I am doing a new masterclass called Structure for Wealth, right? The original name of the masterclass was Protect Your Profits. So I said, let me just go make sure there's not someone out there that owns the trademark for Protect Your Profits. Went out there, boom, somebody owns it. Now, if I had used Protect Your Profits, and now I'm doing Protect Your Profits conferences, I'm doing challenges, that person who owns the trademark can come back to me and say, run me my money. Run me
Yeah.
my money. Because that's my idea. I own it. And a lot of times business owners don't think about their mental and digital real estate in the way that they should, because there is a lot of ownership that's coming out of our minds that could produce wealth beyond measure. But we don't know to think about that.
Yeah. It even when, because as you were talking, something popped into my head, because a question that I have: what happens if, even if it's the same name? Because you get this kind of, I see it all the time on the Shade Room. When people when they be so I see it all the time on the Shade Room, where they post stuff and how somebody infringed on somebody's name, but the idea behind the name is completely different. But they don't understand that it really doesn't matter. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter if the way that it's going to be rendered or if the services are similar. So let's use an example. We have the person who owns Skin, SKYN, right? She trademarked Skin and she had it in beauty products and things of that nature, I believe, or I'm making a hypothetical. Then you have Lori Harvey who comes and she wants to do Skin in the same way. Then you have Kim Kardashian who comes and wants to do Skin in the same way. They are infringing upon her rights because she was first in use.
Yeah.
And so the only way that you can do it where you're doing it the right way is you can try and buy the trademark off of her.
And that can get, from what I'm saying, that can get like dicey and super expensive. And so is there a way for people to just kind of find if their trademark is being used, or is that just something where, you just have to go and try to get a trademark and just see if it's being used or not?
Yeah, I think, again, you want to get that attorney involved as soon as possible, because even when you do own the trademark, it is your job to be the police of the trademark and making sure that people are not infringing upon your rights. And if they do, that you're taking the right legal ramifications to make sure that it is going to remain your intellectual property.
Okay, cool. So I don't want you giving all your stuff away, because this is free. But I do want you to speak to just a couple more things. Well, not a couple more things. Just particularly want you to give some advice on just structuring a business. Just your basics, simple. Not to go into depth. You don't have to give your courses away right now. Just simple. When it comes to structuring your business, here's the 1, 2, 3 step.
Yeah. So I think structuring your business really starts with your vision and understanding when you're going to hit profitability.
Okay.
Because profitability determines when and where you might want to elect to do something different tax-wise. And so the easiest business to start is probably an LLC, right? You can do a sole proprietorship, but there's not much protection there, pretty much none at all, right? And then the LLC starts to protect you. During the pandemic, there were a lot of people out here who became experts and told people to go in and start S Corps, right? Yeah. Well, do you understand the legal ramifications of you starting an S Corp? Do you understand the accounting ramifications of you starting an S Corp when you're not even making money, right? You're not even making money. And so, you have to be careful. And most times people want to go to like LegalZoom, InkFile, with all these things, because people are like, start your LLC and start to protect your business, right?
I ain't gonna lie. I went to LegalZoom initially to start my LLC. So, but that's a whole other story. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so you can go there, but one of the things you have to understand, what you don't understand in your business hurts you.
Right.
what you're missing in your business hurts you.
Right.
And so the most skipped step there is the operating agreement. And when you don't have an operating agreement, you leave your business up for grabs and to be controlled and directed by the state if something ever happens to you. So, that's a little nugget or two.
Yeah. And I think it's not, and for those on the other side of it, because, not everybody's privy to, having a lawyer, attorney. Like, I have attorney friends, but outside of you, I think they're all criminal. Like, they work in courtroom all the time. So you're the only one that I know does more of the business and stuff like that. And for those who may not have that kind of privy to that kind of relationships or information, rather, it's easy because like I don't know how to start LLC. Well, I know they do LLCs over here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to have like podcasts like this to bring people on to let you know, okay, that's fine, but here's what you also need to be looking for. Make sure you ask about this as well. And that's I feel that's important. I don't want to be on here and say like, okay, those who are watching, oh, go, you gotta have all this money to go get a lawyer and all that. No, do what you personally, I would say, invest in a lawyer. Make sure the money that you have, you go and find you somebody to at least look over, the stuff that you're trying to do, your business plan, the legal stuff about it, and then get their opinion on the LLC and how to go about that. But if you can't do that, you say I only got enough to kind of have this person do just give me my LLC up and running because I'm working on faith or whatever. Just ask questions. Exhaust your list of questions as much as you can.
Yeah. And I think the thing you have to think about too is whatever you're going to pay legals on, if you ever get into, or whatever it is, if you ever get into the space where you need more information, now you're paying more money than you would have paid if you just had gone to a reputable attorney. And so it's really about helping people think as CEOs. And when you're starting a business, you have to have that marketing thought out. You have to have that legal thought out. And then you have to have all of the other things that's going to make the business run. And let me not forget the accounting and finance, because that's two different things, y'all. Accounting and finance.
Yep. Checks and balances. Yeah. I'm learning that now, because like I said, I was always mixing money, just putting in my regular account stuff. And I know that particularly when it comes to tax time, it can help you having a separate account, know where everything went, stuff you have to pay for your business to start. Like this camera I'm using, I didn't know I can write that off until like a few months ago because I bought it for my business, my media business. So yeah, all that kind of stuff, it makes a huge difference. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'm gonna take up too much of your time. But moving forward, I just want people may be watching, be like, hey, I like what she's talking about. I want to know where to find her, what she offers, this, that, and the other. Maybe she can help me with what I have going on. So this is your chance right now, Coach, to plug whatever it is that you want to plug, any new courses coming out, anything that you're opening up soon, as far as subscriptions, all that kind of stuff. So this is your time. Go ahead.
No, I think if you're starting a business or you're trying to get understanding about what you need to do and when you need to do it in your business, the only place for you to be right now is at IamandMore.com. It is a one-stop shop that gives you both the business aspect and the legal aspect so that you can make sure that you not only are in a position to make millions and you can keep those millions from the alphabet boys, that's the IRS and whoever else, from that upset client, and also from the people that you're hiring in your business. Most people don't even know when you spend a certain amount of money, now you got to 1099 it. Yep. Like there are so many things that you don't know, and what you don't know will hurt your business. So take the time out and invest in making sure your business is structured properly and set up to keep your millions. Why do I say millions? Because I think I am the millionaire maker, right?
Come
That
on.
blueprint,
Come on.
that you need to think about your business and grow to becoming the Amazon, grow to becoming the Apple. That's right here down on the inside of me being pushed out at Iamandmore.com. And that's with 1 O.
Come on. Like, she's the millionaire maker. I'm the gift opener. Listen, y'all in the right place. Y'all watching the right thing right now. I'm trying to tell you. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Don't forget to do that. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. But don't forget to do that. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google, make sure you're downloading so you don't miss an episode and miss all these nuggets that we're doing. Listen, I'm so glad that you were able to come on, Coach Jamila. Listen, you know how I feel about you. And I love what you're doing. I love your, just your personality. Everything about you is integral, your character and all that. And, we talked a lot about, I had a question about nonprofits, but I think I'm going to have to bring you back on to kind of talk about that a little bit. Because I have a lot of people, particularly people that are close to me who do nonprofits or they want to, and they just kind of have no idea where to start. Because it is different from an LLC and all that. And, you probably got to be a little bit more careful with the way people talk about it. So, but yes, appreciate you. And I'm praying blessings and favor over your life. I'm praying blessings and favor over those who are watching this. Until next time in the huddle. All right. I'll see y'all. Peace.
Peace.